Ladies and gentlemen, I am Yusrul, the game is War Thunder, and welcome to Lunchtime Tankery. The focus for today, ironically enough, isn't a tank. It's the gun motor carriage Model 18, better known as the Hellcat. There are two versions in-game. This is the premium Black Cat, which can be had as part of the Weapons of Victory pack, and also there is a researchable version, the vanilla M18 gun motor carriage. There's not actually a lot to choose between them. Functionally, they are identical. The only differences are cosmetic. The stock actually has the later version of the gun with a muzzle brake fitted, and the premium version loses the muzzle brake, but picks up a rather snazzy little decal instead. Although I feel obliged to note that said decal, if used as an aiming point, will allow you to neatly headshot the driver and the radio operator. I'm quite sure that wasn't the intended purpose. The Hellcat's development history is an interesting example of how changing requirements alter a vehicle's design. The original spec called for a fast, lightweight tank destroyer using Christie suspension, the standard Wright Continental R975 that powered just about every medium tank through the war, including the medium M2, the medium M3, the medium M4, all their variant vehicles, and of course the Hellcat. If that looks like an aircraft engine, that's because it is an aircraft engine, which goes some way to explain why you get 460 horsepower out of it. The rest of the spec was fairly typical, except that it called for a 37mm anti-tank gun. That would have been adequate, just, in 1939, but the specification, yeah, that was written in December 1941. Someone had presumably slept through 2 years and change of, you know, actual war, proving that 37mm was obsolete. Luckily, someone else got hold of the spec, and by the time the T-49 prototype got into testing, it mounted a British gun instead, the 57mm Royal Ordnance Quickfire 6-pounder. Then the US Army popped its head round the door and pointed out that 57mm wasn't going to cut it either, and would the design team kindly mount a 75mm gun. So the T-49 went in the bin, and the T-67 was built with the new gun. It was actually the same M3 that would arm the early Shermans. That got through testing and approval, and in early 1943 the Army popped their head round the door again. Hey guys, M3 is starting to struggle. 76mm M1, please. So, back to the drawing board. The M67 got tweaked, re-emerged as the T70, which got through its tests without anybody popping their head around the design team's door, and was accepted with a few minor tweaks, mostly to the shape of the hull and the forward turret, as the M18. And now it's in War Thunder at battle rating 5.0, as part of the US Army's expanded anti-tank and tank destroyer line. So, what do we have? Well, the first thing most people notice is, of course, the top speed. When you're used to 40 km per hour, give or take, in a tank, I think 72 kph, intoxicating, is probably the best word, given the number of Hellcat drivers, me included, that will jam the pedal to the metal and race off. Which isn't automatically a bad thing. It allows for early grabs of capture points and early take-up of sniper spots, camper spots if you're on the receiving end, of course, but it can backfire horribly because an overly keen Hellcat driver will often forget that the actual, you know, tanks are now several hundred metres and an eternity behind them. The end result is usually an isolated and then dead Hellcat, because the speed comes at the cost of any armour worthy of the name. The Turbo Kitty's hide is hilarious, although the owners tend not to see the joke. Hull plating is 12.7mm, half an inch of rolled homogeneous all around, with the exception of the gun mantlet, which goes for a whopping 1 inch of armour, 25.4mm. That might, on a good day, stop rifle caliber machine gun fire at 500 metres, stuff like the MG39, the MG42, the M1919, the Baser, you know the drill. The mantlet, if you are blessed by the tank gods, well, it might, emphasis might, stop a 50 cal at 500 metres. Everything else, with the exception of low caliber impact fused high explosive, for which read just about every weapon in the game from rank 1.0 on up is going to go straight through. The hull armour is actually so thin that it's not unknown for an APHE round to go in one side, through the tank and out the other, while the fuse is sat back having a coffee and wondering when it's going to actually hit a tank. The gun itself is the M1, the 76.2mm 3-inch caliber high-velocity gun that would arm the later Shermans as well. Ammunition, well, you get 45 rounds, of which you can load 36 without any ammunition in the turret, so that's your safe, relatively speaking, limit. As far as the rounds themselves go, stock ammunition is the M62. It's actually APHE CBC, despite what it says in the description here. As far as the opposition goes, against most vehicles in the 4.0 to 6.0 bracket, well, you'll get through their armour at 30 degrees and out to 1,000 metres without too much difficulty. The fun exceptions, of course, are Tigers and IS-1s properly handled and angled, where you'll need to get within 500 metres and get a solid flanking shot to penetrate. Happily, you have the option of the M79 solid armour piercing round, which trades the burster charge of the M62 for more penetration, although it doesn't make a significant difference. You're a bit more likely to get through a Tiger's front at 500 metres and 30 degrees, but for all practical intents and purposes, you're still going to be sticking with the M62. The game changer is the M93 round. Just look at those numbers. Come on, 240mm at 0 degrees point blank, 134mm 30 degrees and a kilometre. This thing will theoretically go through a Tiger's front at a mile and a 30-degree angle of attack. You think that hide's going to protect you, Fritz? M93 would likely disagree with you. Of course, the downside is that it's a sub-caliber round, there is no burster charge, so actual damage from the M93 is minimal. So as far as loadout goes, we'll go with about 25 rounds of M61 for general use, load 10 rounds or so of the M93, just in case we run into some big beasties, and then we'll see what happens. And it looks like what's going to be happening is 3 points in Hurtgen Forest. This is interesting. Hurtgen normally breaks down into a triangle setup. So we have point A, west side of the village, point B, east side, horrible mashup in the middle, and then point C pops down at the junction of the Mestrender, the Karl, and the Rechelbach. So, loadout, M62, 25 rounds, M93, 10 rounds. We'll start at the northern point. Opening gambit is going to be a mad dash for A in best Hellcat fashion, then we'll punch either south or north and see what we can do by way of flanking. This is where the Suicide Kitty can play its speed to an advantage. We can get an early grab, just accelerate away, 34, 35, 40 kph, over relatively rough terrain, just breaking past 40. The only other tank I've seen manoeuvre like this, ironically enough, is the T-34, and that's on a wider track base. Although I noticed that that road-mounted Sherman is getting fairly similar performance. Of course, we were running over rough terrain, so now that we're on the road, 41, 42, 43, 45, just passing 50, but I'm not going to be able to overtake much. Skid past, and little bit of lag skidding us in, but we're both into point A. Get this thing turned around, ready for a break south once we have the cap in play. Tradition on this map, of course, is to break north, but I've found that to be a bad idea. North is far, far too open on Hurtgen Forest, so what generally happens is that you get spotted and shot. Now I've got a couple of drones as peripheral contacts. We'll punch southeast for the moment, get out onto the flank, get away from the main action. Like all tank destroyers, you do not want to get seen in a Hellcat. And we're running right into a Panzer IIIL, who hopefully hasn't seen us. No, he hasn't, thank God. The drone, however, did see us, so we'll peekaboo round, lay onto that Stug. Would it? straight through the driver's hatch. And let's go punish that Panzer III for his lack of attention. Head on a swivel, keep checking. Where have you gone, mate? Come on, you were around here somewhere. And I didn't see a kill. Ah, there you go. Another drone gets a hit. Fire, critical hit. His engine's on. We're swallowing hit after hit from the drones. It's not going to matter. Back of the turret to kill. And then we need to disappear again. I'm actually going to take a hell of a risk and break backwards away from the main line. We're risking more shots from those drones, but it's long-range fire. Drone rounds aren't nearly as effective as player rounds, so we can skid round this corner. Lay on to that Zis 30. Come on. Fire. Hit. 50 cal starts brassing him up. Fire again, and solid kill. Now the next problem is going to be this drone unit. Where are you? Back it up, back it up. No contact. Okay, we've got point C as well. Ah, there we go, another drone. Lay on, side armor. Fire. Through the wall, into the turret. Hit his commander and his loader. Soak another hit. We'll do it. Got him. Right, next problem. Advance up again. Keep moving. M18 is very much a shoot and scoot piece of kit. You do not want to get spotted. You do not want to get locked on. Panzer IV F2 there. It's just about deflated from him, but he may very well have contacted us on the minimap. So we're actually going to punch south. Ooh, an SMK. Russian heavy. Actually lost the contest to the KV-1 in Trials in the Winter War in 1939. I'm disengaging from B at the moment. I want to get out of sight. Made myself a bit too unpopular over there, but they have got a heavy, and we might be able to get a flanking position there. Something is brassing us up. Long range shot from the 3J1. Doesn't really matter. Fire. Take a risk. That 50 of his is going to be reloaded. There we go. And this is a bad position. I'm actually going to have to take the risk that I can get a shot in. Doesn't matter. And I hit 7 by accident, so I am dead. No two ways about that, but might be able to do something about... Actually, that's a good question. Why am I in the air? I have no idea, but I've lost the Hellcat while I was up here. We're into Berlin this time. Single point conquest map, so Suicide Hellcat might be a viable option here. It depends where the control point comes in. If I can get to it first and get into cover, grab the control point, and then try not to die before my buddies arrive, it will give us the initiative. All we'll have to do is keep the enemy off the point rather than grabbing it ourselves. It is much easier to defend a fixed location than it is to attack one. But so much is going to depend on the initial shakeout and where that control point is. Get ready. Rever up. And it's over at the Kroll Opera. Go, 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 go. That would have been my preferred breakout route anyway. So, kick forwards at T50. And the bright news is we're on roads. So hopefully the Hellcat can show off its speed a little. Take a sharp left here. Stay on the track. Stay more or less defilated. You can see how fast I'm outrunning the rest of the enemy. Even granted that War Thunder random battles tend to be a little slow off their starting line. The only person who's keeping pace with me, really, is actually that light T50. Unfortunately, of course, the enemy will be having the same idea, so a lot of this initial collision between the light units is going to boil down to who is first on the trigger. Why is the enemy digging in on the right-hand corner? Okay, I'm not even questioning it. Let's pull in, get into the circle, find some cover, dig in, and you'll notice I've spun the tank round, I've angled it up for all the good it will do, and we're now positioned to make a very fast exit if we have to. Main forces moving up behind us, we'll have the cap done by the time they get here. enemy force will come in from the north, they'll collide, and artillery is about to bugger this over something rotten. Right, go, 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 go! Fire once, get out of sight! Lack of suspension there was a bit of a problem. Oh, Gaijin, why you dragged me back into enemy line of fire? And hostile team capturing Zone A doesn't get them very far, because of course our heavy armour has just arrived. Let's line up on that KV-1E. Fire! Stug 3F, where did that come? Oh, of course, he was pushing forwards. He wasn't dead, he'd actually broken contact with the enemy. You can actually see there, I have no idea what that Panzergranate round was doing. But that gives you a good illustration of how the Suicide Hellcat can get the initiative in a battle. So we'll pull out the M4A1 as before. And our main force has just arrived on the scene. They're now slugging it out with the enemies. So let's change the game again. Drop artillery north of the points. Don't need to know where the enemy is. We're just landing it roughly in the general area. And in an ideal world, our guys would now not be getting massacred. Bollocks. Right, that complicates things slightly. Okay, what do we got? Not sure. Sherman dirt moving up. Bingo, there's some hits from that speculative artillery fire. Don't stop there. Okay, M4, Panzer 3M. Yoink! Speculative, but what the hell? Unlikely to hit, but if it gets him ducking, I'm happy with the result. Right, we're not going to be able to take my preferred route at this point. Normally I drop down into the river and use that as a quiet, defiladed way of getting up to the centre of the Königsplatz. But at the moment, there's just too much enemy firepower focused on it. And in fact, the enemy has grabbed a... Damn it. Suicide Hellcat did not pay off, which leaves the rest of us trying desperately to grab this back, because we've just surrendered the initiative. And of course, enemy heavies are now engaged. They've got T-80s, KV-1s. T-80, of course, is a light, but I have lost my best unit for this tier, so keep pushing forwards. Basic theory is simple enough. Skedaddle around and... Ooh, Panzer IV no shot at the moment. Now, we're round the enemy at this point. We'll push forward again, try to get round the side of this M1. Holy shit, that's an awful lot of enemies. Yoink! Okay, nailed his gunner. Right, come on, give me a fuel tank. Stay laid. Fire! Hit! But didn't get anywhere, and I forgot to angle, so of course, M4A2 Sherman straight through the fuel tanks. Boomski. This is the problem with a down-tiered game. This is also the problem with the Suicide Hellcat strategy. Of course, if your team can't or doesn't, for whatever reason, reinforce you in time, then you are going to have lost a Hellcat for no gain. It really, really relies on your buddies being quick off the mark, and that's why it tends not to be a great idea in pickup battles. But let's see what we can salvage from this fiasco. Get forwards, get the control point back, and, well, generally pray, because the 75mm, yeah, I kind of don't have the penetration to reliably get through a KV-1 with this gun. I mean, it'll wreck a... Boom. I'm sorry, was that a hit or not? Okay, stabilize, lay on. Don't block my shot. Fire! Critical hit. Somehow didn't detonate his ammo. Fine, no matter. Lay on. Sorry, the turret. Executed. Got him. Right, so... Not good, not good, not good. Panzer IV F1, and I thought I was driving a cruddy tank for the tier. Fair enough. Punch forwards again. Panzer IV H, 200 meters. Lay on. building in the way. Advance again. G's covering the street, so we'll take advantage of his support. Move it up. Try not to ram each other. What's that? KV what? Oh, shooty balls. Fine. Later the Stug instead. Target hit. No damage, and then a Su-122 blitzes across. Irritating little sod. Fire. Hit. No effect. Just clicked his radiator. No, get out of my way. Come on. Thank you. Anyhow, you've got a better gun than I have for these purposes. 75 just doesn't have the velocity at that range to be effective. Okay, back it up. We're not going that way, so basic rules of tankery. If you can't go forwards, go round. Find an unexpected route. Always advance. There is always a way to get forwards and engage the enemy. And in this case, give a Panzer IV one hell of a surprise. Excuse me. Okay, its horizontal drive's gone. Thank you. Load up and kill. Another grind forwards. And we are just about back to the control point, which is almost certainly going to be horribly, thoroughly covered by, among other things, a Su-122. Fire. No effect. Gods, we're so dead. Come on. Reload, reload, reload. Fire. What did that do? Absolutely sod all. Come on. Move, 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 move. Accelerate. I'm not going to get another shot. Come on. Maybe I am going to get another shot. Blimey. I'm not going to get another one, but okay, I thought that SU was going to nail us. Wololol gets his second shot at me straight into the ammo rack. Mind you, with that angle, yeah, I was pretty much dead anyway, no matter where he hit me. Okay, so Poland in battle mode. Of course, this is essentially a variant on break, except there's only one control point. We manage to grab the team's other point, we will win instantly. Well, technically we'll win on about a 10-second delay. They will just bleed all their tickets. Battle mode 5.0, give or take. That typically means Tigers. Lots and lots of Tigers. So I'm going to tweak the ammunition load a little. We're going to go for 15 rounds of M62 and 20 rounds of M93. And before you ask, I have taken an extra round of M62 just so I can do that. Okay. M41 76 Sherman. Who's on the side? Yep, Germans, right. Tigers. Lots of Tigers. So, Panzers 4 and Hellcat sideways. Get over this hill and start running south to the usual sniper spot. We'll use the hill for cover, pop up, fire a shot, pop down, and basically see how much of a nuisance we can make of ourselves. Of course, most of the battle is going to be in towns, so that means short sight lines, narrow sight lines, and a lot of close range work. Not good terrain for a Hellcat at all, unless you're planning to play the ambush game. I plan to play the sniper game, so let's just run. Run away, run away, run away. One of the annoying things about a Hellcat is that there is no coaxial machine gun. The 50 cal is of course on a pintle mount, so while it's incredibly responsive and useful for anti-air fire, it is, well, it's basically worthless for the primary use of a rifle cal machine gun in this as a crude rangefinder. The other problem, of course, is that the enemy's southern spawn point will be coming pretty much the other way. We've got another Hellcat over there running cover, and a T-34-85 as a bit of heavy, well, medium support. Okay, so I really don't want to be the first one around the corner here. Okay, still nothing. Initial engagement hasn't happened yet. Yeah, this is the thing about realistic battles. In fact, machine guns in general and Hellcats. Machine gun fire can go through a Hellcat. So you have to be a little careful there. Right, let's pull up. Taking a risk here, too exposed, but for a few seconds to just scan. Trying to pick up some movement. And I have got nothing. Right. Exposed for long enough, let's get moving again. Where is the enemy? Come on. Where are you? Where have you all got to? I mean, I can hear gunfire off to my left. Actually, no, let's shut down for a second. Bingo. Gunfire ahead. Set APHE as the next round into the breach. Just push forward slowly. Somewhere in here, there is a kitty. Oh, fuck me. Hi. Hi, guys. Shit. Come on, reload, load. Go. His horizontal drive is jammed. Hit him again. His horizontal drive is now back. Come on. Thank God he isn't talking to his mates. Hit his engine. That's forced him to a stop, but we are... Critical hit. Okay, he's on fire. Driver's gone, crew's burning. He's going to be too busy putting that out. Let's stabilise just for a second, get the elevation up. And kill shot into the turret. Now, where the hell's the rest of the enemy gone? Before this artillery starts wrecking me. Skedaddle out from that arty barrage. There we go, there's another mark. That is a... It's a Tiger. Load APCR as the next shot. In fact, it's a King Tiger. Excuse me, steady up. Critical hit into the back of his turret, killed his gunner. APCR is reloading. Set APHE actually. Go. Caught far too much attention, and the Panther got a shot. Lost track of where he was. Where did that come from? Ah, right, he must have respawned and come up behind. Straight in. Neat kill shot. Panzergranate bounced around. Kills the gunner twice. And then detonates the tank. Yeah. Not a lot to be done about that. And there's now a... I think it's a King Tiger running rampant around the southern side of the map. So we'll pull out the Sherman Derp. And just keep going. Right, back into the main battle. There's not a lot I can do here. Not with a, well, a Sherman 105. High X in the breach. Heat round as the next shot. We might get somewhere. Come on, where's this traverse? There we go. Okay, all stop. Lay onto the Panther's turret. Fire! Mis-detonated. Actually detonated underneath him, I think. So, if I can get a shot into his frontal armour... Come on, wait for that 105mm to range up. Boom, drop short. Keep forgetting just how bad the... Oh, never mind, someone wrecked him. Keep forgetting just how bad the muzzle velocity on this derp is. There's something else there. Point A is being captured. Oh, shitty balls. Range on. Fire! Missed, but the Su-152 didn't, so that stopped the cap. And we have now got a flat gun firing in, and another Tiger. And my gunner's dead. And a track's gone. And the driver's dead. And there's an 88 loading up, and a Gepard. And yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. Sherman caught in the open by multiple German heavies and mediums. I mean... not a pretty sight. I mean, even at a glancing hit, the 88 just went in one side, out the other, and caused untold misery in the middle. We got well and truly hammered, didn't we? Okay, no point waiting around for the denouement of that one. We know how it's going to end, but You saw what happened at one point there. I ended up in the middle of the enemy formation, completely by accident, and they didn't see me, but all the same, not a great demonstration. Trying to get a good run in a Hellcat on camera has been a nightmare. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Hellcat. In arcade mode, a suicide capper and an ambusher and a sniper. In realistic mode, well, a bit more of an ambusher because it doesn't have the big red sign over its head, but in either mode, oh my god, if the enemy gets line of sight to you, you are so dead it isn't true. Which may go some way to explaining why the line goes from light tank destroyer, even lighter tank destroyer, and then abruptly, post-war, turns into the Turtle of Doom, the 105mm T95 with 300mm of armour on the front. The Americans dumped the concept after the Second World War. I have been Yuzul, that has been Lunchtime Tankery, and until next time, farewell.